Anat Sultan-Dadon.
Thank you. The central theme designated by Yad Vashem for this year's Holocaust Martyrs and Heroes Remembrance Day is a lost world, the destruction of the Jewish communities. For centuries before the Shoah, thousands of Jewish communities flourished in Europe and enjoyed a vibrant cultural, social, and religious life. These communities were obliterated in the Holocaust, with only a small minority of survivors returning to their former homes. 6 million Jewish men, women, and children from thousands of what had once been flourishing communities were never to return, having been murdered by the German Nazis and their collaborators. The destruction of these Jewish communities during the Holocaust is a deep wound still present today in the Jewish people's collective memory and identity. On October 7th, our collective memory was awakened with the horror of the reality in which, again, Jewish men, women, and children were tortured, raped, burned alive, and slaughtered in southern Israel. Communities were destroyed, many homes burned to the ground. But there is a stark difference between the horrors of the Holocaust and the horrors of October 7th, the existence of the State of Israel. While we face a genocidal terror organization bent on destroying Israel and the Jewish people, we no longer have to rely on the protection of others. We no longer have to rely and depend on the world's mercy. We have a sovereign nation and an army to defend ourselves, which is what the Israeli Defense Forces have been doing and will continue to do in order to ensure the safety of our country and people. And we remain committed to ensuring the release of the 132 hostages which are still being held in brutal captivity in Gaza. Next week, the State of Israel will celebrate its 76th Independence Day, the establishment of the modern State of Israel, the realization of the millennia-old dream of the Jewish people to regain sovereignty in our ancient homeland. The everlasting commitment of Israel, the nation-state of the Jewish people, is that never again will a Jew face hate, danger, or persecution with nowhere to turn. But there must be a global commitment as well. History has taught us the grave danger of not taking a clear moral stand, of not actively working to combat ignorance and hate. Today, we are witnessing rampant anti-Semitism all around us, on college and university campuses, in elementary, middle, and high schools, on the streets of so many American cities, including here in Atlanta. Never again is turning into once again. Once again, Jews are being targeted. Israeli and Jewish students and faculty are being harassed, intimidated, and assaulted. Once again, chilling chants calling for the genocide of the Jewish people are being heard loud and clear in public spaces. Demonstrators are calling for the elimination of the State of Israel, proudly supporting genocidal terror organizations. Once again, too many leaders, political leaders, faith leaders, academic leaders, are failing to take a clear moral stand. Too many are failing to draw what should be a very simple line, the line distinguishing between good and evil, between right and wrong. Once again, the majority around us are observing in silence. The silent majority once again may mistakenly think that because the hatred is directed at Jews, it has nothing to do with them. And once again, they are dead wrong. The demonstrators out there proudly supporting rapists and murderers are not just the enemies of Israel and the Jews. They are the enemies of all of the values that we all hold dear: life, freedom, and humanity. One need only look at who they are receiving praise from the murderous Iranian terror state and its terror proxies, to understand what it is that these demonstrators and their supporters stand for. The silent majority must wake up and must start speaking up against the danger that we all face if we allow for this hatred to spread and grow. Holocaust scholar Professor Jutta Bauer, while delivering a speech to the German Bundestag in 1998, said, "I come from a people who gave the 10 Commandments to the world. Time has come to strengthen them by 3 additional ones, which we ought to adopt and commit ourselves to. Thou shalt not be a perpetrator, thou shalt not be a victim, and thou shalt never, but never be a bystander." Today, these words take on a new and urgent meaning. The horrors of the Holocaust have no parallel in human history. Committing to ensure that never again are not hollow words demands of anyone who stands for humanity to actively take a stand today against the age-old Jew hatred that surrounds us. As we remember the 6 million Jewish men, women, and children who were murdered in the Holocaust, we must acknowledge that remembrance alone is not enough. It must also be translated into action. Being a bystander cannot be an option. We also know that out of the ashes of the Shoah, the Jewish people have prevailed. Time and again, throughout history, the Jewish people have faced enemies that have sought to destroy us. We have prevailed. We have not only survived, we have thrived. We will overcome today's enemies as well. Am Yisrael Chai.